Hey everybody, it's Kristyn and Ryan.
Hey, what's up?
We're here with another episode, and we're still on our series talking about The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. We are on chapter 4, Mind Strategies for Avoiding the Now. Forgot to say the date. Today is Friday, May 22nd, 2020. Real quick, I wanted to shout out my dad. His birthday just passed. He would have been 51 this year. So, yeah, 51. He would have been 51, wow. Right? Yeah, so I miss him every day, but I just wanted to give him his birthday shout out.
Shout out to Rob.
Yeah, Big Rob.
Big Rob. There's so many Roberts.
I know. And it's crazy that, like, I didn't know a lot of Robs except for my dad and my brother, and then all of a sudden I know a ton of Robs now. Yeah. Like what? That's weird. That's weird to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so his birthday was May 17th. I just want to give him a shout out. So anyway, so moving on, we're gonna jump into this chapter. I think this chapter, it had a lot. Like, I have a lot of stuff just highlighted.
Same.
Like, a lot. So, as usual, I guess we're just gonna go section by section. I'm gonna try not to stammer on my words again. My God, I'm already stammering. Yeah, so the chapter starts with the section Loss of Now, the core delusion. And the first question is, even if I completely accept that ultimately time is an illusion, what difference is that going to make in my life? I still have to live in a world that is completely dominated by time, which is a valid question.
Yeah, very valid.
So Eckhart's response is, intellectual agreement is just another belief and won't make much difference to your life. To realize this truth, you need to live it. When every cell of your body is so present that it feels vibrant with life, and when you can feel that life every moment as the joy of being, then it can be said that you are free of time. So, yeah, thought that was a strong opener to that section. Just basically, if you believing in, what I took from that is like you believing in clock time versus psychological time or whatever. That's just another belief system. You have to actually really live that, and live the presence and living in the now and knowing that what the differences are in clock and psychological time.
I don't know why my brain is just like,
oh, I know you're looking at me. I'm just like, am I? Are you short circuiting
yeah,
or what?
My brain is like fried right now.
Oh my gosh.
So what he's saying is like the general consensus of time that everybody knows is just a belief system. Is that basically what he's saying? Yeah.
But he's also saying, I think what I took that from that is like, it's either way. Like,
oh, clock time and psychological time?
No, okay. So you believing, you making a intellectual agreement with believing that there is a difference in the presence and actual clock time and whatnot, which is what we live by as clock time, right? As humans. And what I took as him saying is that even if you believe in the presence and all that stuff, as we're talking about it right now, we believe that that's true, that you had to, the only true time is now and all that, but if you're not living that, it's still just another intellectual agreement that you made. It's something that you're fathoming with your mind. You get it, but you're not living it.
Okay, so it's almost in a sense of your profession, or even it's just some basic task that you want to do but you never do it. It's is it something like that, where you believe like, okay, like you say, like I'm an entrepreneur, but you never even did anything entrepreneurial. So
yeah, if
you're
not living the life, then you just
capping.
You're just yeah. I guess that can be equated to that. It just means that like if you're not living it, if you're not living it, you're not really living it. You just created another belief system.
Okay.
To basically label and categorize and whatever, but it's like.
So you still won't be living in the present at that point because you just put it in a compartment in your brain and said, hey, it's just.
Right, like I know clock time is an illusion, but it's like, okay, but you're not really living it because you're still consumed by clock time.
Right.
And turn it into, psychological time. So it's like you have to live that presence to actually, be present.
Yeah.
Like if you just say that you believe it, then okay.
Right.
You believe it, that's another belief, but are you living it? So that's what I got from that. But so God, there's so many sections.
Amazing. I don't know, I guess we just go with all of the standout stuff that we the big standout things, even if we gotta skip around, I think.
Yeah, I mean that's what I want to do. I'm just trying to.
On the next page, actually, on 72, right at the top, stuff. I had to be free of time is to be free of the psychological need of past for your identity and future for your fulfillment. It's like, in a nutshell, that's basically this whole thing. Really, it's like, it's bigger. It's not even, I can't say it's bigger than everything that you're thinking about, but it's just simply don't use the past to identify with and don't look for the future to free you.
Right.
You free where you at now.
Yeah. It's like once again being identified with either or.
Yeah.
So yeah, even I have some sections highlighted down towards the bottom. It's at the bottom of the second paragraph. So before you are firmly established in the state of presence, which is to say before you are fully conscious, you shift back and forth for a while before consciousness and unconsciousness, or between consciousness and unconsciousness, between the state of presence and the state of mind identification. You lose the now and you return to it again and again. Eventually, presence becomes your predominant state. I thought that was so important for him to say, because I feel like even like, as you know, for some people it may be a powerful shift that happens and then that's it. Like with him, like it took him to get to rock bottom, and then when he got there and then he had that moment that pretty much saved his life or saved his earthly life,
right?
Physical life. And so that was the shift he needed. But I feel like for most people, what he's saying is that you're going to go through a process where it's back and forth. Yeah. Like it's not just a switch. Like
I'm definitely going through that.
Yeah. Like once you become aware and you're practicing being present, it's going to become more and more. It's basically a habit. You're forming a habit. It's like definitely you become more and more present the more you do it. But it is a back and forth because you've been so conditioned to not be present. You've been so conditioned to live in the future or the past that, you'll start getting glimpses of the present, but it's not going to just be like, oh, I'm just fully embodied and in the present all the time and all that stuff.
Like a flick of a switch.
Yeah, I think it's a process. And I think it's an everyday, every moment process.
Yeah.
Like most other things.
Yeah, he kind of related to sleep and how you're not always fully in a deep sleep. You go in, it's like stages throughout the night. And that's how he kind of compared the two, or kind of made an analogy to where you're not going to always be present at every waking moment, but it's just good to identify when you are not. Because the moment you do identify when you're not, then that's when you actually are.
Yeah, he talked, that's in the next section actually. It starts on 73. But before he gets to that, on the bottom of 72, he says most humans alternate not between consciousness and unconsciousness, but only between different levels of unconsciousness. So that's where he goes into this, the second part where which starts on 73, where he's talking about ordinary unconsciousness, and deep unconsciousness. Those words, man.
Right.
I promise you guys, we are sober. It's just like our.
Oh yeah, I'm sober in the mood.
Yeah, you super sober. But
over a year. Yee. Let's go.
Yes.
Let's go.
That's amazing. But yeah, so okay. So anyway, in this section, that's what he's talking about. He's talking about most people go between like a regular unconsciousness and a deep unconsciousness. And so he talks about that in this section. A standout part for me, really, I just was just like all of this. But what he says is like towards coming towards the middle, but it is most people's normal state. Or let me see. I'm sorry, let me go back a little ways, but he said what I call ordinary unconsciousness means being identified with your thought processes and emotions, your reactions, desires, and aversions. It is most people's normal state. In that state, you are run by the egoic mind and you are unaware of being. It is a state not of acute pain or unhappiness, but of an almost continuous low level of unease, discontent, boredom, or nervousness, a kind of background static. You may not realize this because it is so much a part of normal living, just as you are not aware of a continuous low background noise such as the hum of an air conditioner until it stops. When it suddenly does stop, there is a sense of relief. Many people use alcohol, drugs, sex, food, work, television, or even shopping as anesthetics, oh Lord, in an unconscious attempt to remove the basic unease. When this happens, an activity that might be very enjoyable if used in moderation becomes imbued with a compulsive or addictive quality, and all that is ever achieved through it is extremely short-lived symptom relief. This. All right, that right here.
Let's all sit and digest on that. That was a lot, but yeah.
I didn't plan to read that much, but I was like, man, come through.
Yeah.
Like, cause
that was, you know what? I didn't even highlight that, but I should have, because I like how he basically compared it, or just gave you a actual mental representation of what the unconsciousness is.
Yeah.
And it's calling it low level noise. I like that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you really don't notice the air conditioning being on or anything like that until it turns off. You're like,
and then you're like,
yeah.
Finally, that noise, like gone. Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely understand that. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I might have, but I haven't felt that like relaxed feeling to not have like that.
False.
Really?
I think that's false. So we actually, that just came up. You're drinking. I don't know if you wanted to really share about that, but yeah, like, so when you came to that decision to stop drinking,
yeah,
and then you did, I feel like once you started addressing reasons as to why you were drinking, and then it was like that realization when it had gone some time, and you're like, man, like, I don't even want to drink. Like, I don't even want to, like, and it's like, it was such a peace when you said that.
Dang, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. I definitely think.
I didn't even think about that. It's just, I mean, being inside, looking inside is like, you don't really feel it the way somebody else would perceive it to be. So I don't know. I guess for me, it felt like it was a sense of kind of like ownership, really. Cause like I finally grasped an aspect of my life that went completely out of control. And now I'm able to control it. And it's not taking over or anything like that. So
right. And that's what I'm saying, because I feel like the hum of like whatever it was, like whether, and that's just generally speaking, whatever you grab for, it's like that hum of like being bored. Like, I'm just bored. Like, I'm gonna just do this.
I've been going through that a lot.
Or like the hum of just like, you just feel like anxious, you just feel uneasy for whatever reason. You don't even know why. You don't even know why you're feeling uneasy, but you reach for something.
Speak to me.
You reach for something to take it away, because that's the only way you know how to fix it. And it's numbing you. So it's numbing the so-called noise, right? But really it's only temporary. It's a temporary fix.
Just putting earmuffs on.
Yeah. That's it. And so he's saying that most people live in that state. That's the normal state. It's just it may not be anything deeply bothersome at the time, or, you know, this just dreaded feeling, but it's like, it's something there. It's just always lingering.
Yeah.
Like, it's always something.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about my alcoholism.
Yeah.
As an example.
I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm proud of me too.
Yes. Very proud. But anyway, I guess that whole story is for another time, but
I guess whenever the time is right, or when the subject fits.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, moving on in that section, and he's talking about so he says on 74, let's see, 74 on the first full paragraph, towards the middle, he said, deep unconsciousness often means that the pain body has been triggered and that you have become identified with it. Physical violence would be impossible without deep unconsciousness. It can also occur easily whenever and wherever a crowd of people or even an entire nation generates a negative collective energy field. Like, so basically what he was saying, the deep unconsciousness is if like you are fully identified with, like, basically with your egoic mind, and like where you're like super just identified with.
So it's basically where you feel like the only resort to defend your identity is to fight or to do something physical to someone else.
I don't know if he's saying that it's impossible to put out violence without being deeply unconscious. So yes, I think violence
is one of the...
Yeah. Okay, let me go back. So on the bottom of 73, I have to go back. So the unease of ordinary unconsciousness turns into the pain of deep unconsciousness, a state of more acute and more obvious suffering or unhappiness. When things go wrong, When the ego is threatened or there is a major challenge, threat, or loss, real or imagined, in your life situation or conflict in a relationship. It is an intensified version of ordinary unconsciousness, different from it, not in kind, but in degree. So basically, it's the same thing as normal unconsciousness, but more intensified. And because you're deeper into it, and your pain body is triggered, which we talked about that. So your pain body is triggered, and you're so wrapped up in your ego and your mind, and you become so identified with it that you really truly believe that this pain and all that stuff is you. Like, this is what you are. And so it comes out, it manifests outward. So you're creating, he says it later. Basically, what you're feeling inside, you're projecting out, and you're creating that reality. So because you're so in pain, and you're so hurt, and you're so like just wrapped up in your mind and your ego, that you end up creating that reality outward. And so you impose violence, you impose pollution, you impose all this destructive stuff,
right?
Because you're destroyed inside,
right? Okay, so it's just basically a reflection of how you feel on the inside. Yeah.
So further down on 74, he said the best indicator of your level of consciousness is how you deal with life's challenges when they come. Through those challenges, an already unconscious person tends to become more deeply unconscious, and a conscious person more intensely conscious. You can use a challenge to awaken you, or you can allow it to pull you into even deeper sleep. The dream of ordinary unconsciousness then turns into a nightmare. So basically, challenges are like the test. It's like, are you going to be conscious in this moment? Or are you going to like be deeper into sleep? Like, that was.
So in layman's terms, what do you think he's like, if you can put it in layman's terms, what do you think he's saying?
So if you're dealing with a challenge, are you going to use your awareness to be present in that moment? So when you're present, you know that this is a life situation. This is not your life. You know that, or even if somebody's coming to you, approaching you with their pain body, right? If you're present, you're going to see that. You're going to recognize that, like, they're in a state that is outside of themselves. And so being able to understand that, and then you react accordingly. Or not react. It depends on what the situation calls for. But
I always have that question, even though I'm sure in the book it's answered it at one point. But it's like, if someone comes to you with a conflict, or they like approach you in a threatening way, how do you respond while being present? Like, how do you respond as someone that's present versus someone that is like unconscious or something like that, you know?
An unconscious person, I feel like if somebody's coming at you hot with their ego, and their pain body's flaring all the way up, and they're coming at you, and I feel like if you come back at them the same way, that's your ego talking back. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know the answer necessarily as far as like.
No, I mean, it's not necessarily something that I would expect you to like know exactly, but it's kind of your idea of like, okay, if someone came to you with an issue or whatnot. As someone that is fully conscious and present, how would that response look like? Like, what would that look like to you?
I mean, I think it'd be a very understanding. It would come from a very understanding place. Like, you would just like if someone came to me and was just like, look, man, like I ain't feeling what you did or something like that, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And for me to be like, okay, well, tell me. Like, so it's like active, like just listening and not becoming attached to what they're telling you.
Don't feel attacked.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Not. Yeah, I guess that goes hand in hand because if you're not taking it personally, you're not going to feel attacked anyway.
Right.
So you're just hearing them. Like.
So it's almost just letting them vent.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Like letting them have that space. It's basically creating the space for them to get whatever they need out.
Amazing.
And like.
And then letting it go.
And letting it out, letting it go. And I think the moment you start, and I feel like even if somebody does come at you with something and then you start feeling your emotions get out of hand, or you can feel when anger or something is starting to rise up, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's in that moment where you become like, so you're listening, but you're becoming aware of how you're reacting. And so you step back from the person that's talking to you, but you step back from yourself and you start observing how you're reacting to that person. And it's not really in a judgmental way. It's just recognizing like this emotion is happening, this emotion is riling up, whatever. I think that is the thing, because it detaches you from that emotion.
Right.
It detaches you from what that person's saying. It's detaching you from your emotion to it, your emotional reaction to it. It sounds
Yeah, I got a question though, because this is kind of crazy. So if you was to do all of that while somebody like coming at you hot, right?
Yeah.
And you trying to listen, but then like internally you stepping back, observing.
Okay,
you.
no, it's
Are you not listening at that point?
No, I think you can still listen to the person. You still
like having that mental idea just make me think like. Just kind of thinking of like a TV show when they kind of like step out of themselves.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's like
and
that.
And it's like they just an empty shell of them just sitting there. That's kind of how it seemed to me. Like when you had that mental picture of observing yourself in situations and you're not really and you supposed to be fully present, but
no, but that is that but that's okay. So it's not in that kind of way. But I think that is the presence. That is how you stay conscious in the situation. I mean, we've had discussions before and, relationship stuff, y'all. Yeah. And like where you'll say something and I'm like, I have like an emotional response, or I have like usually my emotions come out physical. So it's like, I feel it. I feel it.
Yeah.
And so I'll feel it coming up, and as it's coming up, I just observe it coming up, and it's just like, okay. Like, so you're having this kind of reaction like to this, but hear what he's saying. Like, so it's kind of like it really does ground you and like put you in the moment. So you're not, again, it's not like you're taking it personally, as in like, oh, they're coming to attack me or telling me I'm doing wrong, or saying like, or victimizing yourself or whatever the case is. Okay. Like, it's more like, I'm just hearing you from your perspective. I'm listening. These are, and also my counselor, like, had talked to me about, like listening behind what a person is saying, because usually it's a lot of love behind what someone is saying. Yeah. If they're coming from an actual, from a good place, like, but sometimes their delivery is not great. So you listen behind.
I can relate. I can relate.
Okay.
To the delivery part, I can relate. I know sometimes I say stuff that don't come off right, but I wasn't trying to say it that way with the message that I want to get out. It's still there, but it's just wrapped in crap.
Okay. Well, okay. Yeah. So I mean, I guess it's like that. It's like listening to the message behind what they're saying.
So it's like
as well.
So it's like don't pay attention to the criticisms. Just hear the message that's being told to you. Yeah.
And I mean, I've had a couple situations like this with family members where they were telling me well, like you can never get a hold of you. Like I can't get a hold of you. Like you don't really call. Like when I do try to text you, you don't really text back. And mind you, I've gotten worse and worse with texting as I've gotten older, just saying. But like with that, and literally I just had that moment where I was like listening and I was like, okay, so you miss me. So it's like, yeah, I just want to talk to you. Like, but if I wasn't staying present in that moment, it would have been like, well, you can call me. Right. Well, you can you know, like sometimes I text you, you don't text back either. Like it could be in a whole, it could be a whole back and forth, and then your feelings get all riled up even further, and then it leads you nowhere. Right. Like you got nowhere. And the whole message was, I miss you. I want to talk to you. Like, I feel like I can't get a hold of you, but I want to get a hold of you. Like, so it's, But I'm like, so those two different reactions that could have happened. Yeah. You know, it could have, like, things could just go left real quick just because you're responding with your ego as they're coming to you with their ego, whether they're conscious or not of that. Like, so it's, well, clearly if they're coming with their ego, they're not conscious. Right. So, and usually, have you ever watched somebody like soften up when like someone's like tense about something and they're coming to you, blah, blah, and then you're just like, I hear you. Like, I know this is what you need or whatever. And then you just see something just soften in them.
I probably have, but I can't recall.
Well, I mean, I've had that before, and I'm just like, and even me, shoot, like having me where I had to get something with you a lot, or I had to get something off my chest or whatever, and then it's like after that, then I get the feedback, like I hear you, like I understand, like, and then it's like, oh, okay, I feel good now. Like, I think at the end of the day, I can't remember who said that. At the end of the day, everybody just wants to be heard, whatever. Yeah. So, but yeah, okay. This is getting all far off what we were talking about. But, yeah, so basically, he's just reiterating that these challenges that we face and the times where things go wrong, and all of that, those are the test points of, are you conscious? Are you present? Are you in the now?
Will you be miserable, or will you come out free? Yeah, you can look at it like that.
So
insightful, Ryan. That was the ego, y'all. That was the ego.
Let's see. So I have this section blocked off here too on page 75. It's the middle paragraph. When you learn to be the witness of your thoughts and emotions, which is an essential part of being present, you may be surprised when you first become aware of the background static of ordinary unconsciousness and realize how rarely, if ever, you are truly at ease within yourself. On the level of your thinking, you will find a great deal of resistance in the form of judgment, discontent, and mental projection away from the now. On the emotional level, there will be an undercurrent of unease, tension, boredom, or nervousness. Both are aspects of the mind in its habitual resistance mode. So again, I
blocked that off too.
But again, it's just reiterating, like, your emotions are so important. they're like a signal to whether you are conscious or you're not conscious, like whether you are present or not, and to pay attention to those.
So basically having a feel of unease and all of that, like, yeah, that's an emotional response, correct?
Absolutely.
So how would you not necessarily prevent it, but how would you, what would be the way to know that you're present? Like, would the unease just dissolve? Or would it just be something you just accept, which then may resolve? How would you prevent or to alleviate those emotions?
I think again, it just comes to the practice. It's like an ongoing practice. So the more and more present you become, the less and less that noise is there. Okay.
So it's like working out, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. So the more you are aware of those emotions to begin with, so that's a part of being present. You're aware of the emotions and you are observing them non-judgmentally. And so you know that is not you. That's not your emotion. You know, that's not your emotion, but that is not a part of you. That's separate from you. And so, yes. You look like what?
No, because I'm curious. So, if you was to think of the why in your emotions, is that something coming from judgment at that point? Like, I'm feeling uneasy. Why am I feeling uneasy? Is that question a judgmental question? Or is that a question trying to get me to identify or at least observe the actual issue?
I think that's an observation question. Like, just what triggered that, right? Versus, God, you're so stupid. Why are you feeling like that?
Ah, okay.
Like, that's how I take like the judgment. Or like, you shouldn't feel like that. Like, get that emotion out of here. Like, that kind of thing. That talk of like when you're feeling emotion and you're telling yourself not to feel that emotion.
Yeah.
Or you're questioning like, I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. Why are you mad? Like, okay. That kind of thing.
Okay.
Versus if you're taking a step back and you're seeing you having that emotion and you're like, interesting. What triggered that? I think that's just that's a part of, I feel that's a part of being present, because you're rooted in what's happening right now. And
are you? Why I asked that is because if you ask that question, like, okay, why am I feeling like this?
Yeah.
Then you start to instantly turning around and looking back in the past to find out if it's something that caused this, or you look to the future to see if it's something that's coming up that make you feel uneasy, right?
I don't think that's 100% true. Because when you asking what triggered that, your emotion is going to direct you to your mind. What are you thinking about? And so, yeah, it like in this moment right now, it doesn't like, so if it's like,
oh, so is that the key statement or the key words before asking why? Like, in this moment, why am I feeling uneasy? Is that like the best way to ask that question to fully get you present, instead of just saying, why am I feeling uneasy? Because then with that, you'll tend to look backwards and see if it's something that happened, or you tend to look forward to see if something is upcoming that may trigger the unease.
Well, even if that is the case, like, let's say you ask that question and it goes back to a past event, or it goes forward to a future event that has not happened. And it's like, a quick fix to that is like, is it happening now? The answer is no. So then it's like you realize you're not attached to that emotion. Like that emotion is not of what's happening now.
It's just the imagination of your mind.
And so once you observe and you see that emotion happening, you see the train of thought, like, because the emotion leads you to being aware of what your mind is thinking. Because this is all on such a subconscious level.
Right.
So when you are in tune with the emotion, then it alerts you to what you're thinking in your mind. So if you are thinking about a past event or a future event, it's going to bring you back to present anyway. Because you're going to realize, okay, my mind is rooted in the past. Let me recenter. That's essentially what it's doing. It's like, let me recenter, because that's not happening right now.
It's times like this week that I've like had to almost snap out of it to kind of recenter myself in the present. Because I just sit there and like just think of something that happened in the past, or just be drifting off thinking in the future.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, hold on. What am I doing?
Yeah. I create a lot of scenarios, man. Like, I swear, I'm like, you know what? I'll give you credit, mine, because you be creative. Because I be having a whole storyline and arguments and all kind of stuff.
Yeah, I do have arguments. Like,
I be having, oh my God. I
trying to think of ways I can win that too. Like, and then end up getting in a fight. Like, that's crazy.
Man, listen, that stuff is real. Like, I be having whole, like, confrontations in my head with people or myself. I'm just like, what in the world? But like, it's usually connected with a fear of something. Like, I'm like, oh, I gotta bring up this subject to this person and I don't want to do that, and oh my God, like, how are they gonna react? And then it gets you to like I just sweat bullets and stuff, and then you're just like already imagining a worst case scenario, and then you get to the moment, and then half the time it don't even be that bad. Like,
oh, okay.
Yeah, like you tell somebody, like, you're like, I gotta tell them I don't want to play soccer with them anymore. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna tell them that, and then it just turns into a whole scenario, and you go to them and you're like, man, I don't really want to play soccer anymore. Oh, okay, that's cool. Dang. I thought this was gonna turn into a whole argument. I don't know why
fault, like.
Right. I don't know why soccer just popped in my head, but whatever. But yeah, like that kind of thing.
That's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, the past two, like, especially like I feel like certain times and certain things definitely transport me to the past. And like, you know, like I said, my dad's birthday just passed, and it really does resort back to that time when, you know, it is a weird thing, because when I think about my dad, like, it seemed like time just stands still. Like, he is stuck in that time. Like, it's a
I know
weird. Yeah, it's weird, but it's like I was like looking at the last photo we took together, and it was just weird. It's weird because it's like, man, like, so many years. It's going to be 7 years this year.
Wow.
Yeah. It's going to be 7 years since he passed.
Whoa, that's crazy.
And so looking at that, I'm like, man, like, you know, he's still back at, like, in 2013. Yeah. So it's like when I there's so many things that happen since then, and I'll think back to like events or songs that came out, stuff like that, and I'm like, dang, that all happened after he passed.
Yeah,
like, it's weird. So, you know, things like that will trigger me to go to past, or like certain situations which still haunt me. We're gonna have to do an episode about that, but anyway, yeah, it'll resort me back to past and stuff. But yeah, it's just like when you're having those moments, it's the important thing to question, like, not question in a judgmental way, But just observe yourself as you're having those emotional responses, because the emotions are responding to something.
Right.
They don't just come out of thin air.
Yeah.
You think they do, but they don't. It's tracking you back to it's trying to alert you to what you're thinking. Like, where's your mind at? That's where it's alerting to you.
Okay, that's a really good way to put it. It's just like physical reminders that
right,
you're not present.
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So 76 is in the bottom of the first paragraph. Like, I thought this was so important. But he says it was already there let me see. When he was saying that. Okay, let me go back. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the beginning of this. So on the bottom of 75, it says the undercurrent of constant unease started long before the rise of Western industrial civilization, of course. But in Western civilization, which now covers almost the entire globe, including most of the East, it manifests in unprecedentedly acute form. Good Lord. It was already there at the time of Jesus, and it was there 600 years before that at the time of Buddha, and long before that. Why are you always anxious? Jesus asked his disciples. Can anxious thought add a single day to your life? And the Buddha taught that the root of suffering is to be found in our constant wanting and craving. So, and then he talks further down the second, that next paragraph, just talking about how consumed we become in that anxiousness and that unease. And he says at the bottom of that, this collective dysfunction has created a very unhappy and extraordinarily violent civilization that has become a threat not only to itself, but also to all life on the planet. So, yeah, that line of can anxious thought add a single day to your life?
Yeah.
The answer is no.
Nope.
The answer is no, y'all.
And typically takes away because you're so anxious and you're thinking about all of this stuff that happened in the past, and you're like running towards a future that's not even there, and you're doing all that, and you're skipping your life. You're skipping the now, which is your life. And so all that anxiety and stuff, for what? You know what? That just made me think of a saying that now I don't know if my old preacher came up with this or not, but this is where I heard it, and this is something my mom says to this day. But he says that every day is a good day, just miss one. And that just made me think about, and this reminded me of that, because if you are anxious about something, just say you just anxious for one whole day, you basically missed a whole day. And then typically when someone asks, like, how was your day? Like, I didn't have a good day. Because I was anxious the whole time. So you really did lose a day.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. That truly is one of your mom's favorite sayings.
Yeah, she loves saying that.
She loves saying that. But I mean, it's true.
Yeah.
Like,
and it really do make you think about how precious life is, or at least like your physical life here. Like, it's just being grateful for being here. And it's like,
and having this experience.
Yeah, every day is a good day.
And that's not to say that there aren't challenges, that there aren't hard things that we have to go through. And I think that's just the nature, because that's the nature of humans, manifesting all this craziness and the insanity and all that stuff, we have to deal with that. But just being so consumed and identified with that and saying that this is my life, this is how my life is and all that stuff, and not recognizing the life situations.
Yeah.
That, you know.
Man, I really gotta add that life situations thing to my vocabulary. Because, I mean, you don't really think about, you've been pretty much conditioned to say, my life, my life, my life, my life.
Yeah.
And then you don't really think about that everything that's around you is just a situation and not necessarily your life.
Yeah. Made me think of Mary J. Blige's song.
Oh, well, I mean,
which she sampled, but yeah. Says my life 1,000 times. But yeah, so moving on 77, freedom from unhappiness. Now listen, I put 3 stars next to this section because I was like, boy, listen. I mean, it starts the way it starts. Do you resent doing what you are doing? It may be your job, or you may have agreed to do something and are doing it, but part of you resents and resists it. Are you carrying unspoken resentment toward a person close to you? Do you realize that the energy you thus emanate is so harmful in its effects that you are in fact contaminating yourself as well as those around you? Have a good look inside. Is there even the slightest trace of resentment, unwillingness? If there is, observe it on both the mental and emotional levels. What thoughts is your mind creating around the situation? Then look at the emotion, which is the body's reaction to those thoughts. Again, he's pointing out that connection there. Feel the emotion. Does it feel pleasant or unpleasant? Is it an energy that you would actually choose to have inside you? Do you have a choice? Again, he's throwing it at you. Do you have a choice in this? The answer is yes. Yes, you have a choice in this.
Man.
And then at the bottom of 78, I have something here. Let me see. So he's talking about how to deal with that. Says negativity is never the optimum way of dealing with any situation. In fact, in most cases, it keeps you stuck in it, blocking real change. Anything that is done with negative energy will become contaminated by it, and in time give rise to more pain, more unhappiness. Furthermore, any negative inner state is contagious. Unhappiness spreads more easily than a physical disease. Through the law of resonance, it triggers and feeds latent negativity in others unless they are immune. That is highly conscious. Goodness, sorry, I kind of messed that up, but for real.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, what are the things that actually sells in the media, and what are the things that's leading in the news? It makes you think. Like, yeah, I mean, it's on 78. I actually boxed in a part of the, I guess this would be the first paragraph. The
first full paragraph, yeah.
So he's saying the pollution of the planet is only an outward reflection of an inner psychic pollution. Millions of unconscious individuals not taking responsibility for their inner space.
Right. And he furthers that on page 80 leading into 81. I'm going to just jump over because it's talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
But do they act in this way because they are in touch with their natural state, the joy of life within? Of course not. Only people who are in a deeply negative state, who feel very bad indeed, would create such a reality as a reflection of how they feel. Now they are engaged in destroying nature and the planet that sustains them. Unbelievable but true. Listen to that though. Like, I gotta read that line again. Now they are engaged in destroying nature and the planet that sustains them. Unbelievable but true. Humans are a dangerously insane and very sick species. That's not a judgment, it's a fact. It is also a fact that the sanity is there underneath the madness. Healing and redemption are available right now. Like, when you think about that.
Yeah, we literally biting the hand that feeds us.
Literally biting the hand that feeds you. You're destroying everything around you. All of nature that is sustaining you. Like,
man,
the madness of that.
Yeah. sounds nuts.
No one who is, like he's saying, no one who is present, no one who is in their right mind, who is joyful. I can't even say right mind. Whoever is not in their mind, who's not feeling like they are their mind. Unless you. Oh my God. Oh, okay. You know what I'm trying to say.
It feel like the circle talk. Just talking in circles.
Oh my God.
I think we understand.
Yes.
Where you coming from.
Okay. But yeah, like
any sane person, I guess you could say.
Any sane person wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. All right. Anyway, that just really stood out to me. Because it's like anytime you're in a negative space and you're exuding that negativity, it's gonna come right back. And not only does it come right back, it affects everything around you.
Right.
People, things, because your actions will start reflecting how you feel on the inside. And
yeah, I mean, it kind of make you think about, I mean, at least for me, it makes me think about like things like the death penalty and stuff. Because when you like, okay, because is pure, at the end of the day, it's pure judgment. And basically you think as the judicial system that if you kill this person, that it makes right of what happened, of what that person did. So it's like an eye for an eye, but at the end of the day, two people's lives has been taken away, or however many people that lost their lives because of that. And it's like we have to destroy this life to somehow make it even for what they did.
Right.
So it's almost like that. It's like in what he was saying, like in an earlier chapter, and so he was saying that people, like it was people that killed millions of people, thinking that they're gonna somehow save the world or whatnot. But at the end of the day, they just killed millions of people. Yeah. And they look like nut jobs, basically, because they are mass murderers, basically.
Yeah. But they're raised up like this was justified. This was the right thing to do. This was, and it's like none of it is helping anything.
Yeah, you just killed a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. As he said, we're an insane species. So
all these animals out here like, man, these people are crazy.
We just out here living in the now.
Like, look, I'm just trying to get something to eat. These mugs flying up and down streets and all that kind of stuff. These people crazy.
Yeah.
Chopping trees.
They give them that, help give them the air that they breathe, all kind of stuff. It's just, yeah. But one part, so I cracked up at this part. So on page 79, towards the middle, when they asked, how can we drop negativity as you suggest? And he says, by dropping it. Listen, I was like,
that whole thing right there.
Yeah, that whole section was, yeah. But seriously, like, by dropping it, drop it. Let it go. It's not you. Like, it's just.
Good. And I know it's very easier said than done.
Yeah.
Way easier said than done. Cause like if you was to tell somebody to just drop it, that's just gonna make it worse.
I know, because they're attached to it. They're attached to whatever they're feeling.
So
or whatever they're thinking.
If someone told you to just drop it, would you feel like you'll be able to do that?
No, I used to get mad.
I mean, now.
Like I don't know. It depends on the situation. Yeah, whatever the situation is, or what they're telling me to drop, or whatever. Like that would be the test. Are you present? or not? Like, so I don't know. Yeah, but I just cracked up because it was just like he's saying again. It's like you have a choice. Like, let it go. Like, it's not good for you. Like,
and I think that's where a lot of people have an issue understanding is that you really do have a choice.
Yeah, and so
especially on how you react and how you basically respond to certain things. Mm-hmm. And it's like people feel like they have to come back at somebody because they feel disrespected or something like that.
Right.
But a lot of times you just, I mean, what is it going to do to you at the end of the day? I mean, I guess since it's around a lot of, and what he was talking about being around a crowd and stuff, a lot of people start to act more of a fool when they are around the crowd because people be like, "Oh, you gonna let dude do that?" You're like, "No, I ain't gonna do that." Nah.
Right. So like ego talking to ego, and everybody's just insane. Like he says that. I know we like run out of time, man, but
yeah.
Oh, where did he say it? I want to find it. So it's on page 84. And he's saying, are you stressed? Are you so busy getting to the future that the present is reduced to a means of getting there? Stress is caused by being here, not wanting to be there, or being in the present, but wanting to be in the future. It's a split that tears you apart inside. To create and live with such an inner split is insane. The fact that everyone else is doing it doesn't make it any less insane. That's the one that was like a huge key right there, because I feel like so many people justify things because it's like, well, everybody feels that way. Everybody has to deal with that. Everybody is like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make it any less crazy.
Right.
Like,
it's like y'all all crazy.
Right. It's like, that's just how we have to live. That's just how it has to be done. That's adulting. No, it ain't.
It's nuts.
No, I refuse to believe that. This can't be life. Like, no, this can't. But and then speaking about like going back to the dropping the hot coal situation, which is what he was saying, like just drop the negativity. But on the top of 82, he's like, are you defending your right to be unconscious, your right to suffer? Don't worry. Nobody is going to take that away from you. Once you realize that a certain kind of food makes you sick, would you carry on eating that food and keep asserting that it is okay to be sick?
If I was lactose intolerant, it's your fault that you eat all that cheese
and have stomach aches and stuff. And what's crazy is we see that insanity play out though, even with food as an example. There's so many things that we eat that we know are not good for us, that we know are not good for our bodies. It's making us flare up or whatever the case, having like diseases, all kind of stuff. And it's like we still eat it anyway because it's like, well, it tastes good, so we're gonna just keep eating it, and it's comfortable, so we just gonna keep eating it.
It made me think about the episode of Fresh Prince when Uncle Phil was told he had to cut his cholesterol down and all that. Oh, yeah. But then he had Will go get some burgers, and he was tearing them burgers up. Then he got that heart attack. Like, that was we knew. Like, yeah. Yeah.
So, again, it's like, it's the same... Lord, it's the same thing. It's like, if you saying that, like, that your thought patterns are insane, and like the attachment to the future and the past is insane, and like it puts you in this like forever cycle, and it just like basically makes you live a numb life, like a anxiety, fear induced life, and you're just like, yeah, I know this is terrible, but I'm gonna just keep doing it anyway.
Right.
That's essentially what you're doing. Like, if you just keep allowing yourself to get riled up about little things, or like just can't let stuff go or whatever, like that's it. You basically choosing to live a life of insanity. That's it.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah. But anyway,
ooh.
Like this, yeah, I'm like, we still got
a lot left. Still got a good amount left. I don't know. Would you want to continue? Is
there anything in these last pages that like really stood out to you?
I mean, 83, like pretty much the whole.
I thought we were moving beyond that.
I know.
Okay, go ahead.
I know this.
Go ahead.
83, like midway through to the bottom. That's a lot to read. But basically, he was pretty much saying, if you feel, basically, if you don't feel like doing anything, then don't.
Oh yeah, that part.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Or if it's something that you feel like you need to do, do it now. It's like just go all in. Basically, just whatever you feel, just go all in with it. Like don't waver or anything, because then that's where all of the judgment, all of the thoughts of what if and all of that stuff will come in. So it's just like, if you don't want to do nothing, don't. And be happy not doing anything. Just enjoy being lazy.
And that is me. I have such a hard time with that.
I practiced that this week. I'm like, it was a day I didn't want to do nothing. I'm like, I need to go to the studio to do this mix or whatnot. And I'm like, so I didn't. And then I'm like, you know what? Since I'm chilling, and I'm gonna just do just that.
Yeah.
And I was straight.
I mean, I had some moments where I actually did that. But it's hard for me. Like, I had a very busy, productive, which I'm thankful for, productive week. Couple weeks.
Indeed.
And I was like, I had a project to proofread. I've been doing some interviews, preparing for some articles for Women of Cincy, and I was doing a lot. And then I got to a point where everything kind of like, calmed down for a second, and I'm like, man, I don't feel like doing not a thing. Like, I don't want to do nothing. Like, I need to recuperate for a second. And it's like, I still had that internal battle of like, yeah, but how about go online and start that grocery list? Or how about like, just do a few dishes, like, or do this or whatever. And it's like that constant do. It's like you have to be doing something, even though, even if it's just the chores and whatever, it's still something. It's not allowing myself to like be like, no, if you just want to chill, then just do that.
Yeah. Like
however that looks, just do it.
Yeah.
And be okay with it. Be present in that.
Or you want to do the dishes,
then just do them. And not, yeah. I tend to do, anyway, whatever. That's getting into a whole nother thing. But, yeah, like that back and forth of like, oh, I should be doing this, but I really want to do this. And then it's like that internal battle keep happening. And then I look up, I'm like, the day is almost over. Like, I didn't do either. So,
right.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, just go all in. Just want to chill.
Right. I can't believe you just said do them all. Like, I don't do all the dishes.
I didn't say that. See? Here we go, y'all. The challenge.
Whatever. Anyway, so moving on.
All right.
What else stood out to you? I mean, It's only
man, look. Well, on 86, I know I'm like kind of tiptoeing, but mid 86.
Yeah.
Say you can improve your life situation, but you cannot improve your life. Life is primary. Life is your deeper inner being. It is already whole, complete, perfect.
Deepest inner being.
Oh,
but that's
yeah,
cool.
life is your deepest. Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I have that highlighted as well. It's like, again, recognizing the separation between your life and your life situation.
Right.
You can improve your life situation, but you don't need to improve your life because your life is already, as he says, whole, complete, perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just like when everybody says, what he's trying to think of what it is. God don't make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're created from God, or if you are an image of God, then you are no mistake. Your life is already exactly the way it needs to be. Now it's just up to you to make your life situation the way you want it to be.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I had that section highlighted. That was powerful reminder.
Yeah. So we already like 10 over. We can keep going. You want to keep going?
Yeah. Now
no, it's just like want to hold up everybody too much, but we can keep it pushing.
Let's just go.
All right, let's keep pushing. Let's keep it pushing.
You're making it awkward.
Well, how? I'm just asking. What you got?
Oh man, I mean, I'm not gonna read this whole section, but the inner purpose of your life's journey, that section that starts on 88.
I'm already there.
That whole section I have like lined. Like it, yeah, it's just talking about. So the question is, I can see the truth of what you are saying, but I still think that we must have purpose on our life's journey. Otherwise, we just drift and purpose means future, doesn't it? How do you reconcile that with living in the present? And he says, when you are on a journey, it is certainly helpful to know where you are going, or at least the general direction in which you are moving. But don't forget, the only thing that is ultimately real about your journey is the step that you are taking at this moment. That's all there ever is. So again, it's like, it all goes back to now.
Yeah.
It's like your purpose and your journey can't be tied into the future. The future is not there. Your journey and purpose cannot be tied into the past. Right. It is not there. It is now. So any moving forward that you're doing is always rooted in now. And that's it. So that's like the main thing of this section. Yeah. But yeah, I mean.
And that can tie into like just being all in in what you're doing as well.
Yep, that's true too.
Because even if it was something that you wanted to do just recreationally, you don't necessarily have to be like some big thing that you need to fulfill in life. It can just be something that you just want to enjoy. Be there at that moment and take it all in. Don't worry about all of the other stuff. Don't even worry about it.
Right.
That's none of your concern.
Yeah. And and also like he said, like, yeah, it's cool to have some direction to know where you wanted to go. But again, the only step you can take is right now.
Yep.
So, and we talked about that in, I can't remember what chapter that was now.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
But yeah, we had a whole extensive conversation about that.
Yeah. It just makes you think about like just walking. Like you only can walk one step at a time.
Yeah.
So it's just like make that one step and the best step you can ever have.
Yeah. A bar.
Heat.
But for real, because, and that's, again, that goes to another saying that's said all the time, but I don't feel like is really practiced. It's like, just one step at a time. And it's just like, no, truly, it is literally just one step at a time in the now.
What's the other one where it pertains to walking, like, have your best foot forward, something like that.
Like, I don't know. Besides put your best foot forward, there's something?
I think that's what it is.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying there's another saying that had something else attached to that.
Nah, that's okay. Why I just couldn't put it together. But yeah, just put your best foot forward. It's like, that's every step.
Yeah. And okay, so and then on 89, when the question is, does it matter whether we achieve our outer purpose, whether we succeed or fail in the world? And he responds, it will matter to you as long as you haven't realized your inner purpose. After that, the outer purpose is just a game that you may continue to play simply because you enjoy it. This reminded me of Gary Vee right here. Because he talks so much about just the enjoyment of the game. Like, he just loves the chase of being an entrepreneur. Like, he just loves the process of it. He loves the journey of it. Yeah. And his whole goal, he's talked about this all the time. He wants to own the jets. And he's like, that is just a thing that I'm chasing just to make it fun. Yeah. Like, but it's not something I'm attached to. Right. And that right there is like, because we know that, you know, he talks about having full awareness and all that stuff, and he knows what his inner purpose is. The outer stuff is just fun to him. He doesn't care. Yeah. Like, it's like he doesn't attach himself to that, whether it's so-called success or so-called failure, so-called fame or so-called not fame. Like, he doesn't care about all that stuff. Like, it's So when I read that, I was like, yeah, that's Gary. And other entrepreneurs. There's plenty of entrepreneurs who also live by that. Who they're just like, I just really love the process. It's like, you have to love the process. You really do. In order, because if you're in it for just the result, and you're just chasing the future, like, I just want to make the million. I want to. Right. And Gary also talked about that, where you want to make quick money. Yeah, it's a wrap. That ain't the way. Yeah, it's a wrap. So, and not saying that people don't achieve that. There are people who have achieved getting the quick money, but I mean, at what cost? You know what I mean?
And miserable. They usually are miserable when if it's the money that they're going after, once they get it, just like what Eckhart was talking about, right? Then it's another thing, right? So you never satisfied, right? Yep, it's always the chase for more. It's like, I got my first million, now I want to get my second million. Now I want to get, whatever, and it's always just something else, and it's not the journey. If it's the journey, all the results and the fruits of your labor and all that stuff, that's just extra points. That's just like, man, that's nice. Like, I'm cool, I'm good with this, but it's not the reason why I'm doing this. Because if that's the reason, you're gonna burn out. You're gonna be anxious about stuff, like, because you're just like, I'm just trying to attain this future that I want. It's not about what you're feeling now, the enjoyment of the process. Like, man, it just made me think about actually this week when I went to the studio to mix. It's like, it felt like it was just it's been a long time since I've been there, first of all. But then it was like, man, I missed being in here. I see why I enjoy doing this and stuff like that. It's just so much fun, and it's liberating. It's nice to be creative. Yeah. And being able to make someone's work better or enhancing what they already have, and it's like, love it. Yeah. You might want to clarify here that your studio is not open right
right now, but you just went.
No, it's not open. I just mixed.
Yeah, I was just saying, just, you know.
I mean, I got people hit me up anyway, but yeah, you hit me up, I'm gonna tell you it's not open.
Yeah. So anyway, but I just wanted to, just put that out there. But yeah, yeah, true, all that. And so on 90, when the person asks, what is left when illusion ends? And his response is, there is no need to investigate the unconscious past in you except as it manifests at this moment as a thought, an emotion, a desire, a reaction, or an external event that happens to you. Whatever you need to know about the unconscious past in you, the challenges of the present will bring it out. If you delve into the past, it will become a bottomless pit. There is always more. You may think that you need more time to understand the past or become free of it. In other words, that the future will eventually free you of the past. This is a delusion. Only the present can free you of the past. More time cannot free you of time. Access the power of now. That is the key. And again, I think that kind of goes back to what the conversation we were having earlier about your, like, if you are asking why this emotion is here, like, and then it triggers and then you like go back to the past, I think is answering this here, because he said whatever you need to know about the unconscious past in you, the challenges of the present will bring it out. So it's like you'll know you're attached to, like, you're reverting back to the past because you're having that emotion. So when you when you observe the emotional response, it brings you to your mind, like, whatever challenge that you're facing or whatever, and that emotion comes up in the mind, then it's like it streamlines to where your mind is at. And if your mind is in the past, that's where it's coming up. It's coming up in the now. You're not in the past, it's coming up in now. Oh Lord, dang. Now you're.
I think you lost me.
Okay. Well, you were getting it at first, so what?
No, because I was thinking like, okay, if I was thinking like the way that you will revert, or you will like kind of have a point of reference in the past, is if a situation happens to you to where it requires you to kind of pull a lesson from the past and apply it to now.
That too.
But what you're saying is, if you're just thinking about why am I feeling this way,
like, yeah,
then you go back to the past. But you're not going. Okay, so you're observing your mind had gone to the past. Like, your mind is reattaching to the past. Something in the present triggered your mind to go back there. Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
so then you're like, is literally following the emotion to follow your mind. And then if you know, you're noticing yourself in the past.
So it's kind of
whatever that trigger was.
Okay, so it's like identify the trigger that's happening now.
Yes.
And that should be addressed.
That is bringing up the past. Because it's not about the past. It's just your mind went there. But it's like it's something happening now that is triggering it. That's what I was trying to say earlier.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now it makes sense.
Yeah. But also, I think what you said too, where it's like something was happening now and you need to learn that lesson of, like, it's reminiscent of a situation that happened before.
Yeah.
And so now to be present in that, you got to shift something.
Right.
So I think that's where, and also where he was talking about how you can use time as a tool. You can use the past as a tool, but don't become of the past.
Right.
That's the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I took from it.
So I wonder if like pertaining to like a relationship or something like that, where, well, shoot, even like, okay, say for instance, there's a couple and the woman was a stripper or something like that.
Okay.
Or was in the sex industry.
Okay.
Basically, dang, where am I going with this?
I don't know.
I was going somewhere. It was something in my head that I was going with, but it just like went away. But it's just basically like you can't. It's like how some people would just instantly put them in a box, and they pretty much just identify them with their job, so they can never get like a committed relationship or something actually real outside of what they've known to be. I mean, how would someone handle that type of thing? Like,
hold on, how would the person who handle what? Like, how would the former stripper handle?
Yeah. How would someone like? How would she handle something like that? She or he?
So, okay, how would she handle somebody putting her in that box?
Yeah.
Or saying, I'm not gonna date you because you used to be a stripper.
Right.
Okay, I'm trying to think what.
I don't know. Dang. I thought I had something, but man, I hate when it happens.
I'm just trying to understand like exactly what you were asking, or
it's gone. So
okay.
I'm just gonna.
Are you just kind of saying like how would they avoid becoming identified with the past because other people are identifying with them or them with their past?
Yeah, like they keep bringing it up. Or
so it's basically recognizing that first of all, that is not you. So if you're detached from that past, like, yeah, you know that, yeah, okay, I used to be a stripper, like, so there was that, but
right.
I'm not one now. That's not my occupation right now. And then if somebody's like condemning her for having been a stripper, which is absurd, but whatever.
Right.
Condemning her for having been a stripper and saying, well, I can't date you because like I can't,
right.
Use the strip and everything. That's a them issue. Pretty much.
Yep. True.
And it's like you don't want nobody wrapped up in that ego anyway.
Right.
So, because I'm pretty sure you will come watch me strip though.
Absolutely.
But you won't date me because of my occupation, like my past occupation. That's annoying. Yeah, you creeper. But yeah, like it's the same as anything. Like someone could label you. First of all, everybody's going to have a different perception or different perspective of you.
Or like a criminal past or something like that.
Yeah, or even not even that drastic. It could be something like something you said to somebody one time. And from there on, they're like, you are the meanest person on earth.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, you were just so mean. Like, I can't stand them. Like, and it was based on one interaction. That person already just labeled you and was like, yeah, no. And so, what was it? I think I said it in, I can't remember if it was last episode or whatever, but it was like that other people's perception of you is not your business.
I can't remember who said that.
I don't know where originally, but I mentioned that exact saying.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it comes into play. It's like just because you feel that way about me, I know that's not who I am.
Right.
And even if I did have a bad or a past reaction or a past incident or a past thing I did that I'm not that I wouldn't even do now or whatever, like, because you're holding that against me, has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not that. Even if you had made unconscious decisions and things like that of that nature, knowing that that's not the true you. That was your ego. That was like your mind taking over. That was your pain body speaking or acting or whatever. I think that's what it is. But if you are also attached to that, or if you take in other people's labels on you, if you that's where the problems start arising.
Okay.
And then you start identifying with what people tell you are, or from your past things, because now you're attached to your past.
Right.
So I think that's, yeah.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. But we're at the last page here, 91.
Oh, he dropped a mic on the last page.
Yeah. So the section I want to read, actually the first line is on page 90 on the bottom. And they asked, what is the power of now? And so he answers on 91. It says, none other than the power of your presence, your consciousness liberated from thought forms. So deal with the past on the level of the present. The more attention you give to the past, the more you energize it, and the more likely you are to make a self out of it. Don't misunderstand. Attention is essential, but not to the past as past. Give attention to the present. Give attention to your behavior, to your reactions, moods, thoughts, emotions, fears, and desires as they occur in the present. There's the past in you. If you can be present enough to watch all those things, not critically or analytically, but non-judgmentally, then you are dealing with the past and dissolving it through the power of your presence. You cannot find yourself by going into the past. You find yourself by coming into the present. Boom. That's it. So that's how you deal with the past. Like, the past you is present now in your reactions to things.
So if you was to like mentally drift into the past, and then the emotions that comes up from that, that's you in the past?
That's you being attaching yourself back to the past. Yeah. But what he's saying here is that when you're facing those challenges, your reaction in the now is the past in you.
Amazing. Okay.
It's the conditioning in you.
Okay.
Like, so you don't have to go back and wonder, like, oh, let me analyze what happened in my life, in my childhood. How did I come this way? And what took place that made me react like that? That's already there. It's already present right now in you. Because
that makes it, that's what it, I guess how you put it, make it easier to deal with, because it's just the emotion. It's not the stuff that you can't change. Like,
oh yes.
Because like, okay, I was abused as a kid. You can't change that. Right. But like the feeling that you get from something that happened, that can
that triggered,
that can be changed.
That is where your power is.
Yeah, okay.
That is where your power, like that right there. Just let that sink in for a second.
Man.
Your power, you cannot, like you just said, you cannot go back to the past and change the past. The only thing you can do is accept it. It happened, it's done. Not saying that makes things that people have done to you okay. That doesn't mean that it's like those traumas didn't happen. But the traumas of that stuff and the conditioning of that stuff shows up now.
I got a question.
Yes.
What is there a difference between acceptance and forgiveness?
That's a good question.
It's like, you know, when people say like forgive, when you forgive someone, you doing it for you.
Yeah.
Now, is that just a level of acceptance? Or is there something that's saying, you know what? No hard feelings. Like, what does that, like, is there a difference? Is there a separation between acceptance and forgiveness? That's a good question for everybody that's listening to write in the comments. That's a good.
Yeah, that is a good question. That is a good question.
I almost dropped the mic on that one. But we're going to drop a mic on this, though.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the chapter, the last 2 sentences, he said, the past cannot survive in your presence. It can only survive in your absence.
Like,
but,
man. Bars, Eckhart.
Right.
Listen.
So when you do the roll call mentally, you better say here. No.
Oh my God. But for real, like, if you are not present,
you are absent.
You are absent. So then that's when all the stuff comes up. All the fears, all the patterns, all the ego, all the conditioning, all of that. You being absent creates the space for it to come up.
Yep.
So when you're present, there's no space for it. And that's what the ego is afraid of. Because you being present means it dies. So it doesn't want you to go there.
Yep. Man.
Yes. On that note, we are going to end this long episode.
Yeah, this is the longest episode we've ever had.
Yes.
If you enjoyed it, thank you. Because this is a long one.
Yes, it is. It's quite lengthy. And our episodes are already lengthy. We know that.
Yeah.
So if you listen to it in chunks, just got through it, stuck with us, really following along with us with this book, man. I really appreciate you. But seriously, let us know in the comments the answer to that question. Is there a difference between acceptance and forgiveness? Like, that was a very good question.
Yeah, right on top. Look at that.
Yeah. So as always, you can find where to follow us in the description box under our video. And yes, we are going to finally let y'all go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, one more thing. So if anyone is interested in any of the music that you hear in the backgrounds of any of the episodes that we have, I do make the beats that you hear. If you are interested in any of it for your own podcast or whatever you do that need music, you can hit me up in one of my social medias or go to tracksinfinite.com.
Yes, absolutely. Go check it out. So go check it out is what I said. It kind of slurred together. It's late.
Yeah.
Oh, kind of tired.
Hour and a half.
Yeah, an hour and a half. Already been stammering on words already. Anyway, so thank y'all. We'll see y'all with the next episode.
All right. Peace.
Bye.